Hey everyone, I'm back. So we were talking about mental health conditions. We were talking about your past medical conditions. And one thing that they want to know is they want to know about your mental health concerns. What's going on with you right now? Do you have a mental health diagnosis? Do you not have a mental health diagnosis? If you do not have a mental health diagnosis, then they are probably going to assign one to you, meaning they're going to cover all of your past eating patterns, all of your past diets that you've been on, all of the fad diets, all of the methods you've used to lose weight, such as laxatives or binging and purging or any other emotional eating, things like that. They're going to talk about those things with you. And whether they get into depth with you or not, they want to address them, not meaning confront you about them, but they want to have some light shed on where you've been. Just be as honest as you can. I personally have tried laxatives, I've tried enemas, I've tried starvation, I've tried the lemonade diet, I've tried the cabbage soup diet, I've tried nearly every diet, probably except for the Atkins diet. I've almost gone so far as to have my meals prepared for me where I would purchase them, but it was just too expensive. I've been through so many different methods and ways to lose weight, and I wasn't afraid to share that with the provider because that's what they hear all the time. They hear that and worse. So they hear that and better. So with that being said, you're going to want to be honest about the types of things that you have been doing. And in that, you're going to receive a diagnosis. My diagnosis that I just saw on my paper when I last went to my weight loss surgery management provider's appointment was that I had an eating disorder. It wasn't specific, but I'm pretty sure she has the specifics my psychiatrist does. However, that's okay with me. It's okay. I binge eat. I will spend so many calories out. And then when it's time to eat those calories back up, I eat every last one of them. It's like money. If I said I had $100 and I was going to the store and I was only going to pick up 3 items, instead of me picking up those 3 items for $20 or $15, I end up subconsciously spending the entire $100 and I'm at the checkout register going, I don't know why I got all this stuff. So it's the same difference. So that's what I would do. I would do really well. I would stop doing all the bad things that I shouldn't do, eating wise and drinking wise, and I would lose the weight and I would look at the scale and I would lose 2 pounds, and then all of a sudden I would eat up 2 pounds worth of food and gain it all back. If you have a mental health condition, they are not going to ban you from having the surgery just because you have a mental health condition. So I want to get that clear. What they want to know is they want to know if the surgery will adversely affect you if you do have mental health concerns. What does that mean? That means, are you able to cope with your mental health condition? Are you making the strides that you need to make to maintain your mental health wellness? Are you taking your medication every day? Are you taking it at the same time? Or do you have fluctuations in your side effects? Do you have side effects from your current medication? Or have you been talking to your provider? Do you regularly see your provider for mental health conditions, whether that's your PCP, your primary care physician, or whether that is your psychiatrist or counselor? Are you having individual counseling sessions? Are you talking to someone? If you're not talking to someone, that's fine. You don't have to go talk to someone in order for them to approve you. What I'm saying is that you have to be proactive in your mental health care. And you have to demonstrate that by your history up until you get to post-op, really all the way through the rest of your life. So I'm not saying don't take your meds. I am saying take your medication. Take it as prescribed. Do what the doctor is asking you to do. Process the things the doctor is asking you to process. What self-care activities do you do? And this is across the board. This is if you have a mental health condition or if you don't have a mental health condition. What types of things do you like to do alone that gives you that me time that you need, and it helps refresh you or rebuild your life or gives you some sort of clarity? Those activities could be vast. You could like to take bubble baths every week. You could, and I mean with candles and the salts and bubbles and aromatherapy and all these different things. Do you like to read a book? Do you like to watch a movie? Do you like to watch comedies or dramas or romantic comedies or horror films? What do you like to watch? They also want to know about any other concerns you have with your mental health. And are you having nightmares? Are you sleepwalking? Do you have any other concerns or issues? Do you not sleep? Are your thoughts racing? Are you thinking that other people are out to get you? These are all different things that mental health covers. And this is not the complete list. I'm just basically giving you surface information so that if you are experiencing these things, you need to get to a mental health professional in order to be successful with surgery, because some of these things can be maintained and managed with medication, and they can be reduced and managed, meaning they can decrease your symptoms to a place where you're comfortable with them and you can control them externally with your own self. Weight problems or conditions. They want to know about, like I said, the binge eating, the purging. They want to know about emotional eating. They want to know about all of the nitty-gritty about your eating that you don't tell anyone about. They have to know. And the reason why I'm saying to be honest with them is because you're going to also, once you pose a problem to a mental health professional like a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a counselor or a social worker, you're going to want to ask them how to get the problem rectified. You're going to want to ask them what types of things can they help you do in order to optimally live, to live at your optimal best. How you've tried to lose weight in the past. They want to know all the diets. They want to know everywhere you've been. And that, I think, is also a requirement of what they want on your form, because it did seem like during the assessment that that was a specific question that was asked. Exercise plans. What have you done in the past exercise-wise? They want to know how active you have been in the past, because it may or may not indicate how active you'll be in the future. They want to know the types of things you like to do, the types of things you're able to do, the types of things you can physically handle, in addition to what you're doing now and what you will do post-op. Also, so we've covered the past and we've covered your mental health conditions. We've covered if you don't have a mental health condition. We've covered your diagnosis. And I believe the diagnosis is needed in order to receive approval for weight loss surgery. So I don't want you to be upset or apprehensive about someone saying that there's an eating disorder going on, that there's a concern about how you're eating food. Logically speaking, to look at us, to look at me, yeah, something's not right. It's not right. So it needs to be titled with something, and it needs to have a diagnosis, and that's what the diagnosis is. It's a title. It is a subtitle really to you and your file. So they want to know about your future and how will you be successful post-op. They want to know how you visualize your future, and I address that a little bit into your present when you are making the current changes and how you realistically see yourself living post-op. But this is sort of different. This is different in the capacity that they're going to want to know how you will implement all of the tools given to you in the future. Meaning, after you have the surgery done, what do you think about it? Is it just to have the surgery done and you'll go back to eating the way you used to eat? No. I'm just going to tell you, no, that's not the answer. The answer is that you will utilize everything given to you. You've kept the material. You've read all you can read. You have gone to the library. You've gotten on the internet. You have viewed videos. You have watched infomercials. You have done all of it. And that's what you want to express to them. You want to express that you're well educated and you know what the surgery is about. Also, they will ask, what do you perceive the surgery is? So that's a test question. The question that they're going to ask you is, so let me ask you, what do you think the surgery is about? What do you think happens at surgery? You need to know that. You need to know the process. You need to know the procedure. You need to know that 80% of your stomach will be cut out, or if you're doing the gastric bypass, you are going to have your stomach reconstructed out of a portion of your intestines, and it's going to be routed through to a place in your other intestine that is from your esophagus to your intestine that is going to aid in digestion, and it's going to skip a part of digestion and get to the breaking down of food. You have to know those things. For the sleeve, you have to know that you're going to have 80% of your stomach cut away. You're going to have to know what that means. What does that mean? That means that you cannot have but so much food at one time. Also, I wanted to share with you, and this is just an aside, but I wanted to share with you that I picked up these little cups. Can you see them? Yeah, you can see them. So I picked up these little cups with lids. I picked up these cups with lids for $1 at the Dollar Tree, and they are the size that your stomach will be post-op, starting out. Then your stomach will get bigger. Your stomach will gain size as time goes on. 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and then I believe a year, close to a year, like 9 months to a year, and then 2 years, your stomach changes back to the size that it should be for your optimal weight, which is somewhere about a 6 to 9 inch plate of food. So you need to be aware of those changes. And you also need to be aware that what you eat now is most important in addition to everything else after surgery. So once you have the surgery, the food has to stay the same, meaning you cannot go backwards to the fast food. You can't go back to the high calorie, fattening meals, high fat, high cholesterol, high carbohydrate meals. You have to do it in a succinct order. Then you have your personality test. And I already told you, you cannot lie on your personality test. The reason why you cannot lie on the personality test is because the questions are not created that way. The questions aren't created in a face value. The questions are designed in a format to, if you answer it on the Likert scale, strongly agree to strongly disagree, undecided in the middle, or neutral in the middle, when you make that decision, it automatically populates the answers and similarities to other people who have taken the test. And this is the test norm, or the sampling size or population that has been tested. The questions will ask you about how you internalize problems, how you have external factors that are either obstacles or motivations for you to be successful, any GI, gastrointestinal issues that you may have, your coping skills and mechanisms, how you view yourself, how you view others, how you interact with others, and how you view the world around you. And I know that sounds like a lot. I took a 300 question test. They were all statements, and specifically, when you look at the questions or you look at the statements that are being made, you just have to give what you think the best answer is for you. Some things may stand out to you as being bizarre, and you may think that the statement is very bizarre. But if you do, then you just don't agree with the statement if you think it's outlandish. If you think the statement is something that is kind of agreeable to you, but not completely, then you would put just simply agree. If you say definitely that's me, you run into being congruent with who you are. This is just like what I would say. Then you put strongly agree. If you say that this statement totally isn't like me at all, that I don't get with that one, then you put strongly disagree. And if you consider the question or the statement and you say, well, that statement might be feasible for me, but I don't completely agree with that one. I still have a little reservation about that statement. Then you'll just put simply disagree. If you're neutral, then you'll say, well, it doesn't matter either way. It doesn't matter what the statement says. I really don't care about the statement. It has no bearing on me, or it's not applicable to me and who I am. Then you put neutral. So I just wanted to give you an understanding of how you answer the statements on the Likert scale. Don't just stick to strongly agree and strongly disagree. And the reason why I say that is I'm saying that, like, if you're looking at the test and you want to try to give the answer that you think is appropriate instead of what's truly on your mind, and you say, oh, I'm just going to bubble all neutral, or I'm just going to bubble all strongly agree, or I'm just going to bubble all strongly disagree, then you will skew the test, and it won't look good for you. It will look like you are trying to evade or get down to in depth what you really think about the statement or your personality. And then that also is a concern. So that's why I said you want to answer the statements with the way that I just given for each portion of the Likert scale. And I think that's it. The last visit that I had with the psychologist, we analyzed all of my results, and I went over that in the previous video about the Psych Eval, and it was told to me that I have an issue with trusting others. I have gastrointestinal issues that are indicated from my stress. So I may not talk to people about my stress, but I'll feel it in my stomach. I didn't know that. So that was really insightful for me. She also said that I view myself very well, that I have good coping skills, good coping mechanisms. However, like I also said, I don't trust people, and I'm very suspicious of people. She did say that. And those were concerns for her. So I said all that to say this. The results are going to be the results. And if they are something that it's not favorable to you when you get down to it, if they say you're not going to be approved at this time, don't get upset, don't get discouraged. You ask them, what things do you need me to work on in order to be ready for the surgery? What types of things? Can you write those things down for me? Can you help me? Can I come see you again and we can process some of this? Can you refer me out to someone so that I can get this process, so that I can come back to you in order to receive the surgery at some point in time? Sometimes, and I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes people will hear that from you, and that might change their mind. That might change their mind in denying and approving you. That might change their no to a yes, because they're saying this person is mature. They're mature enough to know that they have some things that they're struggling with, but they know they need the help, and they're willing to get the help, and they're willing to ask me while I'm here with them for that help. So I don't want you to get discouraged. I really don't want you to get worried about it. I want you to go in focused on what you're going to say, and they will catch you off guard. They're going to ask you some things that you may not have thought about, or that I may not have addressed, in order to see if you're just speaking jargon, if you're just talking keywords or key phrases that you know they would like to hear. They want to know that. So you're just going to have to be as transparent as you are, as see-through as you are. You're also going to want to get deeper than just surface issues about why you want the surgery. And I did talk about loose skin in the surgery, and in the Psych Eval, I'm sorry. And she told me that the vast majority of people that have loose skin rarely get surgery because they don't feel it's necessary, or it's not as much as they thought it was going to be. And some concerns may happen. You may have these concerns. You can share that with your psychiatrist or psychologist or mental health provider. So I'm hoping this was really informational. I'm hoping this is helpful, and I hope this gets you through. I want this to get you through, and I want you to be successful, and I want you to get approved. And I know how you can feel, and how you can think, and how you can change what's going on with you just because someone says you can or can't do something. I know how it feels to get your hopes up high and want something. So try not to get so over ecstatic about the surgery until after they sign off on you, after they tell you you've been approved, I approve you, I'm going to send a letter. All right. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day.